Okay, so uh, I haven't finished, I guess, speaking about on alpha males yet, uh, and all the psychology that goes into building the archetype in her mind of what an attractive man should be. That's what I'll call alpha male. I don't know. I say alpha male, but we go into like what an attractive man, or you know what, she constructs the image of what a man should be based on uh, other men, fathers, or what she would expect a father to be, right? So what would be like a prototypical father figure is more like what she's kind of like. So the characteristics of a father, let's say, right? Like when she's a child, she's learning. This is where she's learning, what a man should be, right? Now, there are things that he's doing that she likes and doesn't like, and enjoys and doesn't enjoy, right? And there's a way that a father should be that's in our minds. I'm not sure why, but we seem to have, what is a father figure? A typical father figure, right? It's supposed to be loving and caring, but also disciplinarian, the breadwinner, but also like, what would her father, well, what should a father be like when he comes home? All these things. What would the interactions be with the perfect father that she ever could have had? Because these are, I don't know, they're cultural, I don't know, they're like symbols or archetypes, cultural archetypes, right? We have these cultural archetypes. Okay? There's images, they're subconscious, they're buried in our unconscious, but we have these, like, it seems to be something I've observed anyway in reality, are these unconscious archetypes that we have. And what an attractive man should be would be a really good father, like a perfect father. Not a perfect father. Shit, men get this wrong though. A perfect father in fucking say like a father being like, to a man, is like the king, because you don't understand how women look at you in comparison. See, the way a woman looks at you and the way she looks at a man, the way she wants like her man, her expectations are incredibly unrealistic and unreasonable in a lot of ways. But these are emotional. These are emotional expectations, not so much reality expectations. Okay, so when I say a king, when I say she wants you to be a king, it doesn't mean in reality you're actually the fucking king of a nation. Okay, but you want her to have the feeling, she wants to feel as if you're a king. You understand? Okay, so women are on a completely different level than we're on. This is a huge barrier in trying to understand women, is that they're simultaneously on two different levels. Okay, and there's two different realities, but you also have the same reality. You're not as plugged into it as they are. Now, this is the reality of the unconscious. Okay, the reality of psychic things, the reality of women. Yeah, man, it's true. They're simultaneously living in two worlds: the worlds of reality and the world of feelings, emotions, and the unconscious. And you have to reach them on that level. It's a spiritual level that most men are completely oblivious to. And it's so brutal. It's so bad. It's the biggest issue that men are having. So the unconscious level, the ether, what is this? We exist on three planes. There's the mental, the physical, and the ether. I guess the in the mental plane, there's the higher mental and the lower mental. Or there's logical mental, and there's the logical and analytical mental, which is prefrontal cortex, how I like to think of it. And there's the subconscious, the unconscious processes. Okay? Processes, this is kind of like gray matter, which is most of your brain, or whatever, but let's talk about, okay, the way I like to look at the brain, it's not 100% true, but it is in some ways, okay? You got a brain stem, which at the end of your brain stem is your reptilian complexes. This is your most fucking basic instincts. These are the fucking, this is the lizard brain, you know what I mean? This is fucking fight or flight, survival base brain. Like this is this is where your heartbeat is. Right? Your heartbeat is in this part. It's a part of the brain you don't even access, really. Well, you kind of do. You have some access to it. Like I said, fight or flight responses. There are, but there's... You can control your responses from the signals it gives you, but you cannot control it so much. It's kind of out of your reach, right? Like, for programming-wise. It's your most basic instincts. Your most basic responses to things, fight or flight, your heartbeat, the temperature of your body, the things that are happening. Well, that all happens in other places. That actually happens in other places, but it's maybe like red lower base chakra kind of stuff. Survival. It's basically survival. It's the reptilian complex. And surrounding that is the mammalian brain, which is kind of funny how it actually does. The mammalian brain. Now this is where all your emotions come from, pineal gland, all that stuff. The midbrain, and then you've got your outer brain, right? This is your gray matter and such. But the very front of your brain is what's called the prefrontal cortex. This is your logical brain, and this is where where language exists in the mind. I like to model the brain as kind of like I visualize it as like a football field, and out front of it you've got a guard dog. Like you got this big gate. And this would be your corpus callosum. This is your big wall. It's got a doorway. And the doorway's got a dog. And the dog likes to bark. So the front lawn, with the dog and with the doorway behind the dog, this is the conscious brain, right? Everything that happens in the conscious, you've got this dog barking at it. That's your internal kind of voice that talks, analyzes, thinks, whatever. Okay, you've got your guard dog. The way to get in, shit. Why am I even going on about this? Different parts of the brain. I always get into the brain. We'll get more into all this stuff after. I'm gonna kind of change track here, mid brain or mid conversation. So yeah, the hero archetype, father archetype, hero as well. Hero. The king, the hero of the story. Always hero of the story. Think about the hero of any story. The hero in any kind of, or the lead in any kind of romance novels, but it's always somebody who's like larger than life and this big thing. But you don't have to be the way you think it is. It's not a physical way. It's just how you make her feel that matters. Like you could honestly be the guy. Like you could be like a window washer guy. Fucking you could be. Like you couldn't be like a bum. You can't really be a bum and be sexy because it's unmasculine, right? But you could have your own little window washing business, or you could you could be working at a gas station changing tires or whatever, man. It doesn't matter. If you can make her feel like you're the lead in the story, you can captivate her. There's actually a recipe for this, so we'll get into it. So what does the hero of the story do? Captivates, right? He's captivating, exciting. So it's all an emotional experience. Is all you're trying to create, right? You're not. We get caught up in having the things, where that's not what we have to have. What we have to have is the emotional. We have to be able to provide the emotional experience. The logical shit you'll work out together. Like she'll help you out in the world herself. Like anything she's got to do. Like if you got a team that she's feeling, you know what I mean, on the etheric level. Yeah. So the etheric level is basically your mammalian brain. Is what I wanted to get at when I got into the brain anatomy. I was to say surrounding the reptilian complex is the mammalian brain with all its like 50,000. It's a bunch. Like, I don't know how many parts there's. Like they got them named something 50 some odd parts, 51 parts or something like that. These little things that nobody knows what any of them do, or what all of them do. Like there's so many different parts. I don't remember how many parts there is now. It's been so long since I've looked into this. They're useless. They're useless to even think about for the most part. A lot of them. But your memories in there, all your memories are all in there. Your imagination, your emotions all come from there. It's everything that makes you a mammal, right? And then you've got the prefrontal cortex, which is everything that makes you human, right? So she's more in touch with her mammalian brain. So she's got another layer of understanding things, another layer that she's operating on. That's the layer. See, even though we're all there too, right? It's like, when something big happens in your life, you're in an emotional world. Well, she's always in that emotion. See, if you can think about somebody who's died in your life, and think about what it felt like. You couldn't come out of that. You were, Same time, the world around you kept moving, kept doing what it did. That emotional world, that's the emotional world that she's in all the time. You see, the thicker corpus callosum makes her emotions so much more real and more powerful. She's always there. Not always in like, oh, like my friend died, but emotions impact her that intensely. Like maybe even worse, maybe even like more than that. Like for us, it's hard. I don't know. I'm not a woman, but I do know that that's what I can observe is that they've heightened emotions. A woman will watch this and go, oh my God, it's nothing like that all the time. Because to her, like, somebody dying is even so much worse than it is for you. Her emotions are so intense that they're just way more intense than we are. And it can be observed in the structure of the brain itself, right? So you can see why that would be. The thicker corpus callosum just means more nerve endings or more pathways, more access between, more communications going on between conscious and unconscious. So she's just way more. That world is just so much more real to her, and that's the world she wants to be seduced on. In order to get familiar with that, you got to do some meditation. Okay, now I've been. Here I am. I've got so much to go into. There's a lot of information, but you know what? This is going to be lesson 5 here. It's going to be a heavy one. We have to. What I want to do now is I want to start talking about getting into a meditation routine. Okay. Which is easy to do. For me, it's quite easy on camera. I understand that a lot of people may not have these kind of, they're not as skilled with this. But no matter where you are, the more you do it, the better you'll get. And this is very valuable. To be able to know yourself first off, because we're going to get into how to know yourself. To know some of the things that you do, to understand some of your behaviors, some of the things. I'm going to start teaching you how to be able to look at your operating. That's where I want to get to. I need to describe what an alpha male is in order to start showing you what programming inside you can adjust and observe in yourself so that you can start making some changes, right? I know this is kind of high level, high, intense, maybe high level thinking. I hope that I'm able to, and this is all my own material, right? But I'm hoping that I'm doing it justice, and it's understandable for people. If you want to leave a comment, if you're having any difficulties, and I can address it in another video. So, meditation, this is where we want to get. This is where I need you to become more proficient in, because you cannot change your operating until you can stop it from operating, right? So, to go inside, one thing I just do, I just close my eyes. And I can focus on my breath. So the breath, even though you can consciously breathe, can also you continue to breathe while you're sleeping. So it's both conscious and unconscious. So it's a great little doorway to get into the unconscious. Excuse me. So first we're gonna close our eyes and just focus inside. Focus on the breath as you breathe in and out. You can make nice, long, slow breaths and take full control over your breathing. And just focus in your concentration on taking nice, long, slow breaths. Nothing with a lot of effort, just nice, long, slow breaths. And absorb all your consciousness on those breaths. The more of your consciousness you can focus on those breaths, the deeper you're being pulled down into the unconscious. And if you can get to a point where you just let go of the breath and you're just there. And you get there a little bit more and a little bit more, but you never fully get there. You're never fully unaware of your breath. Well, you do get there, but you can't do it until you start focusing on something else other than forgetting, right? But you can definitely let things go more. And it's more of that, just letting go of this world, this conscious world, what you're trying to let go of. Trying to bring yourself inside into the internal world. Because all the changes, the only power you have in this world is inside. You have no power in the outside world. So start getting acquainted with the inside world, because that's the only power you're ever going to have. But it is the ultimate power. So you bring yourself in. As many breaths as it takes you to get in. Just take yourself in. And what you're going to do once you're inside is begin to notice that there's another part of you. Part of you that has that you've been in your whole life, the whole thought part. But there's this other part of you that watches your thoughts. That part of you has always been there. It doesn't think thoughts, it only watches them. it watches the conscious mind. You want to become aware of. You see, it's very calming. When you're in this state, you can make any emotion happen. Just think about a time you were happy and you start feeling it. Think about a time you were really sad. Think about any time. Oh fuck, I think about a time you're happy. Yeah, I gotta think about something else. Huh. So, how does an alpha male handle being disrespected? This is what I wanted to hit. Because it gives us a lot of insight. When you're out and about, and you want to now be a stronger person, right? And you're a person that people just typically, well, maybe not. In order to change behaviors, we need to be observing them. But we also have to have options of behaviors that we could change things to. So if we think about the alpha male and try to begin to adapt our behaviors towards that, so how would an alpha male handle being disrespected? Because it does happen. Well, he handles it by first taking time to decide how to handle it. Taking whatever time he needs. Alpha males take their time. Whatever time they need to take. King is never hurried. And if anybody disrespects me, depending on the level or degree, I'm going to respond in the way I feel fit. I'm gonna, I'll observe it and it's happening, and I may take a moment to respond. It might be like, holy fuck, I'm shocked. But my first impulse is not to get angry and to attack or do anything at all, not violently or aggressively in any way. It's to decide what to do. That's what I do first. I make a decision. I make a plan right then and there of what to do. Take conscious control of myself in the moment. And then at that point, I may be, whatever I do. And that's masculine. That's what that's the essence of an alpha male. And to display that as much as possible. It's a power over oneself. And when you have power over yourself, people notice. What does that say about alphas? What does that say about alphas? That calculating, taking the time to calculate. It says they got a lot of power over themselves, for the most part. You have to. If you want power over another person, you have to have power over yourself first. The only power you can even really have is in yourself. And calmness. Your general state of calm. Your general state should be one of calmness, one of, analyzing, one of thinking. Great military leaders, it's always thinking, it's thought. They're always incredibly intelligent people. So, I got here, honesty and keeping it real. That's one thing. If you're not threatened by anybody, you have no reason to ever lie. Lying is cowardice, period. There is no reason to lie to anybody ever unless it's either cowardice or you're trying to get something from them, right? And so you should never get caught lying to a woman. No matter, the instant you lie, you kill all trust. But with anybody, think about with anybody in, as soon as somebody lies to you, what does a lie say? It's weakness. It's like it's either you're a coward or you're trying to get away with something. But all lies are weakness. They're not it's not manly. It's not strong to lie. It's always a fucking slippery thing. Nobody respects liars. That's why, and women even more. In a tribal society, she realizes once somebody lies to you, they cannot you cannot trust that person, right? Women lie. Women will lie to you, but not really on purpose. Women will lie to you, but not on purpose. Like, now they might not always either, because they can. All this stuff works the same for women. Like, they can do this shit too. All the stuff I'm trying to give you guys. But lying, and you should try as much as possible not to lie, because once you lie to her, she's that's a fear, that's a threat to her survival and reproduction. Once you become a man she can't trust, and you're not a man that she can rely on or depend on, like, you're not arousing her. You get it? Like, she's always needed that. And so honesty is like the sexiest thing. An honest person is the most sexy thing you can be. And honest with her, 100% honest with her. The more you keep it honest, and sometimes it's hard to be honest. Like me, I'm a guy who would big blonde moolah. But shout out, man. Yeah, the more honest you are, honesty shows her that you can be dependent on. It shows that you're a person that she can trust, she can rely on. And back in the cave, that would have been very important to her in a tribal society, to know her place with you, because you can tell her anything in the world. If she doesn't believe it, you're not, you know what I mean? You're not valuable to her. It's not good. Like, if she can't trust you, she doesn't know if you're gonna, like, next week meet some other woman, and all of a sudden it's like, even though polygamy in itself is not a bad thing, but you might abandon her, right? She starts seeing that you're lying, and you might have the possibility of abandoning her. She'll begin to get fearful her cave woman will get fearful for safety, and whether or not she's going to survive or whatever, and start looking for other options. So that's why that mechanism is all there. That's what it serves. That's its purpose in nature, I suppose. Female need for safety and trust. That's right. The woman has to, like, if you meet any woman you talk to, you can observe in them a need to feel protected and to feel safe. Like, it's like their biggest thing, because throughout history they haven't been. They never have. They can't defend themselves within the society that we've had them in. Human society has not been a place where it was easy for women to just be alive. And so when she feels safe and she feels protected, she feels like that's arousing to her. Like, that's reproducing time. You understand? That's when anything that signals to her reproduction time, the time to make babies. That's so yeah, safety. And it's all on the unconscious. It's all on the unconscious. But that's how the unconscious makes its decisions. So if she feels safe with you, she feels like she can trust you, you'll get her aroused. And demonstrations of not lying, and a lot of guys think, well, like, I don't lie to women. Well, do you look at other women? Right? It's not like that. If you look at other women, and you're not, and even though you tell her you look at other women, but you wouldn't fuck her, you wouldn't fuck the other one, and that could be true. In fact, it still is. You still want to.